Nagrywa. No dobrze, zobaczymy, jak to będzie wyglądać. Dobrze, nagrywanie jest. Jeszcze zobaczymy, czy Kim ma udostępnić wielu użytkowników. I co? I wrzucimy sobie jeszcze transmisję na żywo. Mm. Słuchajcie, standardowo zanim puszczę nagrywkę, to ci, co są stałymi bywalcami, czy uczestnikami naszych degustacji, to wiecie, że mamy część główną, na której zachowujemy się dość zachowawczo, że tak się wyrażę, tak? I tutaj nie bluzgamy i nie obsmarowujemy nikomu tyłków. Część główna potrwa, myślę, że około maks 1,5 godziny. Kim jest dość konkretny, on się nie rozgaduje tak jak niektórzy Włosi, że siedzimy potem do 1 w nocy. Więc Kim opowie o tym swoim projekcie. Natomiast potem zrobimy sobie takiego, nie wiem, maksymalnie półgodzinnego afterka już po nagrywaniu, już jak Kim pójdzie, to ci z Was, którzy będą chcieli zostać, to już jest taka, że tak powiem, nieobowiązkowa, ale zwykle sobie trochę w beki kręcimy. Ci, co są, to zostają, to wiedzą. Także nowych serdecznie zapraszam na after plotki i puszczamy sobie już tutaj, puszczamy. To sprawdzę, czy to poszło. Sprawdzimy, czy to poszło. Tutaj. O, jest. No proszę bardzo. No dobrze. Okej. No, to witam wszystkich serdecznie na degustacji Rom de Luxe, duńskiego botlera, którego sekretem jest to, że i w zasadzie też nie będę za bardzo tego przedstawienia i przedłużać, bo opowie o tym Kim. Jest to, że wszystkie butelki, które wypuszczają, są efektem ich jakby pełnej zgody albo kłótni, zależy jak na to spojrzeć, tak? Siedzą sobie w biurze, dostają określone projekty albo kupują określone beczki, coś z nimi robią lub nie. I tylko, czy jakby też takim trochę sekretem jest to, że każdy z nich ma inny gust. Całkowicie inny. I dopiero kiedy się cała trójka zgodzi z określonym projektem, dopiero ten projekt trafia do butelki i wchodzi na listę ich kolejnego bottlingu. Więc tak to u nich wygląda. Szczerze powiedziawszy, nie wiem, ile jest w tym marketingu, a ile rzeczywistych faktów, bo w biurze u nich nigdy nie byłem, nie widziałem ich jakby w pracy nad projektami. Ale rzeczywiście jest tak, że dość dynamicznie bardzo dużo działają, bardzo dużo tych botlingów wypuszczają i bardzo wiele z nich jest udanych rzeczywiście. Zaczynali, słuchajcie, od takiej typowej zajawki, pasji, od bottlingu prywatnego, dosłownie kilku beczek, ale jak uświadomili sobie, jak dobrą robotę zrobili i że rynek rzeczywiście tego chce, no to rzeczywiście nabrali tempa i co roku wypuszczają dużo fajnych rzeczy. Więc dzisiejszy line-up wybraliśmy wspólnie z Kimem tak, aby był on możliwie maksymalnie różny, z jakby absolutnym naciskiem moim na to, żeby w line-upie pojawił się mój rum ubiegłego roku, jeden z moich rumów ubiegłego roku, czyli Jamajka, która wskoczyła na ostatnie miejsce z racji jej mocy. Więc to było jakby od tego zaczęliśmy, tak? Jak już to było dograne, że to wplatamy w degustację dzisiejszą, to reszta już poszła gładko. Więc też, a on tego nie miał, więc to musiałem gdzieś tam ze starych zasobów wygrzebać, dokupić z Niemczech, ponieważ to była butelka wypuszczona z okazji ubiegłorocznego festiwalu w Berlinie. i się wyprzedała cała, więc jakby nie ma możliwości już jej kupienia, więc takiego oficjalnego oni też tego nie mają, więc musiałem ja trochę pokombinować i zdobyć tak, żeby było jej więcej, a jak już było to reszta już poszła gładko. Więc zapraszam do przeżycia tego, nad czym oni pracują cały czas i zacznijmy. Kim, your turn. I introduce you only a little bit. I want to ask you about how you start, how your works looks every day, and what your plans, everything we can or we should know.
Yes, we could do that. Well, to take the beginnings first, we actually started just as a hobby. We are three rum geeks who is just having this hobby of tasting a lot of rum, just like you are. And at some time we talked about it could be very nice if we had our own company, because you sometimes open doors when you are a professional instead of just being a private person. And then we started a company in our spare time, in the weekends, bottled a little thing now and then, but not that much. After 1.5 years, 2 years, we got the COVID, and under the COVID, we made a lot of online presentations, a lot of tastings like this, and talked about if we should do something really crazy, we should work with rum full time. And that was something that we decided one evening in the break in a tasting that now it's time. So actually, Klaus and I are the two guys who's working full time in Rum Deluxe at the moment. And Michael, our third guy, is only working. He still has his normal job, so he's only working at some fairs like the Berlin Rum Fest and things like that. All the other stuff is something that we are doing. So, and we are just our daily day's work should be tasting a lot of rums, and it's actually not, because there's a lot of other jobs we have to do. We have a lot of we have a web shop, we have a small shop in Jutland, so we have a lot of normal tasks also. But besides that, we taste a lot of barrels and we have a lot of fun with that. So, and I have made a short presentation that we could, I think I will do this and this. Now you can see my screen, I hope.
Yeah, yeah, can you see that?
Like this. This is actually a picture of in the middle of me and Klaus working very hard, tasting some of our own products before we bottle them. We don't bottle anything that we don't like. So everything that we do is something that we are doing well for you, but also for our own sake. So if we don't like a barrel or we don't like a rum, we don't bottle it. It should still be for the enthusiastic thing. And actually, as you can see in the upper left corner, you can see the very first wall we did at Nordic Rum Fest 2019. We got the back wall from our booth and have placed it in the shop with a tiger. So, but I think we should start trying one of our white rums. We have actually made two series of white rums. we decided 2.5 years ago that we would go into the white rum market and teach our customers to drink more white rums. So we made 8 different white rums that was in small 50 cl bottles, and it was called the White Rum School. So you actually could try the rum and teach yourself about what can white rum do, how can you use it in cocktails and things like that. After that, we decided that we would make some more whites and actually wanted to go into the wild series of rum, also with the white ones. So we have made, up until now, we have made 6 different white rums in the wild series of rum origins. And this one actually comes from Australia. It's from one of the smallest distillery in Australia. It's called Killick Distillery, and they make only around 30,000 liters a year. So it's 3 guys who has this small distillery, and it's actually their hobby project too. So should we try? Or have you been there already?
Where in Australia? Tim, did you ask
Yes.
about something?
Sorry?
Did you ask about something now or
No,
not?
no, I didn't. I just wanted to tell a little bit about this one. Is actually in my nose, I have a lot of blue cheese, and I have some tomato, and I think it's very different from the normal white ones we have tasted from Australia. These guys make some really, really interesting white ones.
Słuchajcie, jakbyście mieli jakiekolwiek pytania do Kima w trakcie, to oczywiście nie wahajcie się ich zadawać. Ale również jeżeli macie ochotę powiedzieć coś na temat samego destylatu, który w danym momencie próbujemy, to tak samo, tak?
Uh,
Więc
I have a question.
Yes.
Why the Killick distillery is so popular in these last years? It's a third Killick rum I taste in last 2 years. One from The Reckoning, one from SBS, and then your Killick.
Yeah.
Why it's so popular?
Well, it's actually popular because we source a lot of rums through 1423, who has the SBS series, and we actually made this one and also the one at 84%, the full distillation strength from this distillery. And after a short while, 1423 wanted to make it into their series of white ones. Their series is a little bit weaker. It's only 57, and ours is 60. But besides that, it's almost the same rum. The rum comes from Killick because it was 1423 who succeeded actually getting some of the rum out of Australia, because they are making a very small amount, and they didn't really want to sell anything because it's 30,000 liters a year is not a lot. So they just wanted to keep it for themselves and age some of it and sell it in Australia. So when 1423 got into this and actually succeeded getting some of it, I think that both we and Dead Reckoning said, yes, now we can get some really exciting rum and something that you haven't seen or tried before.
I feel a lot of strawberries in the smell.
Yeah. It is a lot of strawberry, and if you put it in your hand and you evaporate the alcohol, you can actually smell a lot of blue cheese also.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
And I think we will see some rums in the next years where Kilic has some aged rums that we can expect on the market also in a year or two, I think.
Well, it's interesting.
It is. It is very interesting. And this is the only white one that we're trying tonight because I just thought it could be interesting just to have a single white. And then we have some of our aged ones. In the aged ones, we have actually 4 or 5 different series of rum because we like to get the rums into small series. So we make something that we call limited batch, which is our playground. Sometimes we only have 40 liter in a small barrel that we are trying something to do something with it, maybe blend something or have an idea that we want to try. And when we bottle that, we get 40, 50 bottles. So it's our limited batch series because most of it we can't make once more. So we just bottle 50 bottles and sell them, and then it's over. And I thought that we should try one of the rums in our limited batch series called Consumatus, which is actually a blend. It's a blend of rum from Guatemala and rum from Barbados, from West Indies Rum Distillery in Barbados. And then we added some crazy white rum called DOK from Hampton, 85% ABV and 1600 Easters, just to give it a little edge and make it a little bit more characteristic than the Barbados rum normally is. After that, we blended it in the barrel. We blended it in a barrel which has contained Nicaraguan rum for 24 years. An old barrel that we emptied and bottled, and when it was empty, we just made this blend. It has been 16 months in that barrel, and well, it's actually a very delightful rum for people who are not into high ABV. So it's smooth and it's very nice. I don't know if you have it in your glass yet, but you could.
I have one question.
Yeah.
When you decide to stop or keep the rum in the barrels, in which when is
Once
this
more,
moment?
I didn't hear your question, Chris.
Yeah, you didn't.
No, I didn't hear. I didn't hear it. Could you repeat it?
Yeah, okay. When you decide to bottle rum or to keep in the barrel for the next 1 month or maybe more, when you decide? When is this the specific moment?
Well, we have a lot of barrels of our own that is stored at our own warehouse, and those barrels we will taste 2 or 3 times a year. And you know when the barrels is nearly ready. We will taste them more often, and at some point we will say now it's the time. Now it's a good time for this. And sometimes we actually just barrel something that has been in a barrel for bottle something that has been in a barrel for 2 or 3 months, because you use a new virgin oak barrel which hasn't contained any alcohol before and gives a lot of taste and a lot of flavor to the rum. So some of the rums that we make is actually quite young and quite heavy in the taste, because we have this reputation of making something that is a little bit beyond what's normal. But it's something that we do rather often, and normally we sit together all three, taste these barrel samples, and then we decide what to barrel and what to save for some more time.
Okay, sounds very good. Yeah, thank you. And how many barrels do you have in your stock?
Not that many. We have around 100 barrels in our stock. We are not that big on our own barrels at the moment. We are not 1423. I wish we were, but barrels and rum costs a lot of money. So you have to earn a lot just to get some barrels in your own warehouse. So at the moment we have around 100, but it's rising.
Speaking of 1423, do you have some like side project that is like less premium, but like that's more volume to give you money to kind of put more pounds into new barrels?
Yes, we have now. We have a series called the Vikings, which is some more sweet rums. It's rum that is blended and it's sweetened a bit. And that kind of rum is actually something that, just like 23, sell a lot of Patridom, Ron Esclavo. We try to sell a lot of Viking rums just to pay the rent and get something to store in our warehouse. So yes, we have that.
Okay, guys, do you like this one? What do you think about that?
One is like really delicate. It doesn't like kill your taste buds. It's like really sophisticated. I think even if the less ABV percentage, it's really great. So I think it will be great for your perfect drinks like Kiri, maybe even.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this one is able to be drink like really on a higher rate, and the first one you needed time after every part of the sample. You was waiting, trying to find the balance, what is inside, like how many things were in this rum. And this one is like really sophisticated, delicate. It's easy to drink. You can just like take one bottle and see, oh, it's empty. Why?
Yeah, and that was actually what we wanted with this one. We wanted to introduce customers who don't drink a lot of rum and don't drink high ABV to something that was more delicate and more special than just another sweetened rum. So this one is actually it has evolved quite well due to the Jamaican rum that we have put in it. We got a little bit extra there that was really good.
Do you keep some bottles? If you bottle like this one, only 289 bottles, do you keep some bottles for you for future to compare, to find some similar in the future if something is really good?
No, actually we are not. We are keeping one bottle of each of our wild bottlings. The number one bottle of each bottling is kept in our museum, but we're not keeping everything. We're actually selling everything if we can, because we want the bottles to come out to our customers. We have seen in Denmark, we have a distributor that always saves 3-4 boxes for himself and save them to sell them later at a higher price. And that's something that our customers talk a lot about, that that's not the right way to do it. And we have actually told them ourselves that we think it's not the right way. So that's why we can't do it ourselves. We can save something for later. Normally we have maybe half a bottle for tasting, but not more than that. And we're not like Luca. I respect him a lot of his collection, and he has a lot of his bottlings that he can bring to fairs in Milan or something like that, and show old bottlings and say, oh, you can try this. We can only do that with our wild series because we have this one bottle saved of them, but nothing more than that.
How do you choose this blend? Because this for me was surprising that in the nose I smelled that a little bit Jamaica, and after that there was a lot of sugar. I never drank sweet Jamaica rum. For me, that's a very good composition, but very surprising.
Yes, we actually blended this one. It should have been only a sweet rum. It should have been Barbados and Guatemala, and then we added some sugar, and then we got this sweet, nice, soft, smooth rum, very easy drinking, and to be quite honest, a little bit boring. You know, Barbadian rum can be a little bit boring because most of it is almost always the same. And West Indies Rum Distillery makes a huge amount of rum, and the rum from them is very, very Barbadian. And then we talked about if we should spice this rum a little bit, give it a little edge, give it a little bit more than just sweet, soft rum. We added some Jamaican, and we had at that time we had some DOK from Hampton in our warehouse, and we just thought about, well, we could try to add some of that, and then we got a whole new rum, whole new experience, because this white rum with a lot of taste and a lot of Jamaican funk gives this rum a little bit more than just a sweet one.
Kim, I absolutely agree that when you added this Jamaican rum to the Barbados, you mixed it, you achieve a the better quality, let's say.
Yeah.
Let's say on the end you receive the rum, which is, as Przemek said, it's a very good for, in my opinion, it's very good for the new joiners, let's say, in our rum lovers family.
Yeah.
And probably you said that it was your goal, but I just wonder if you achieve a success. So why you limited the amount of bottles only to less than 300? Why you didn't produce it continuously to achieve more money, let's say?
Yeah. Well, actually, when we made this one, we only made one barrel, and this one is actually the single batch of this one. We made Consumatus batch 1, 279, I think, something like that. And then after batch 1, we made another barrel of the same rum to make a batch 2.
Uh-huh.
So we do it, but we also do it as a single cask bottling, which is why we only have 289 bottles of this one. And maybe, I don't know, but maybe we will make batch 3 at some time. That could be.
So we may expect that if we recommend Consumatus for the people who don't drink rum too much, let's say, they may find it in the future.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So do you plan this series of Consumatos? Because if I understand it correctly, you have the series of collectors, you have the series of white, and Consumatos will be the next series.
No, Consumatus was one of our oldest series. Limited batch series, which is Consumatus, a part of Consumatus, was one of our oldest series that we made just for having some place to bottle what we are going to play with in the warehouse. Sometimes we just make 40 liters of something that we have added in a small barrel, and when we bottle that, we have these 40 or 50 bottles, and then we just sell that. And Consumatus was actually, well, maybe it should have been in our collector series, but we thought when we started with this one, it was only intended to be once in a lifetime. As a batch 1 was the only one that we would make, but our customers liked it, so we made batch 2, and that's why it's in the limited batch series. It should maybe have been in one of the other series. So, but when we're talking about the other series, so then it's like that we actually have the limited batch series, and then we have the collector series and the wild series of rum. The collector series and the wild series of rum is not added any sugar. It's single cask bottlings, and it's without any sugar. So, and it's full cask strength, because we have decided that if you want to add some water, it should be quite okay, but you can do it yourself, because we don't want to decide whether this rum should be at 63 or 54 or whatever. Which is why that we are not adding any water to any of this. And this rum comes from Guadeloupe, from a small distillery called Poison. It's a cane juice rum, aged 4 years in French oak in France, and after that we got it to Denmark and had it for 1 more year in 200 liters Oloroso cask.
How big your Oloroso cask was? Jim?
Yeah.
How big your Oloroso cask was?
225 liters.
I'm asking because you have some projects where you have much smaller casks.
Yes.
That's why I asked about that.
We have some projects where we have small 40 liters casks and just try things in them before we make it in the big ones. And sometimes, you know, when we made the Wild Series rum #1, it was actually 40-liter casks that we used for that, and then we blended it into one barrel, had it there for some time, so we could call it a single cask, and then we just bottled it from that. Because when you want a lot of wood in the rum in a short time, you actually need smaller barrels to get a lot of taste and a lot of wood in the rum.
Does it mean that you'll be planning a big version of Marabut?
Sorry?
Does it mean that you'll be planning a bigger version? Because that was a small, similar profile, but just like a bigger release.
Your sound is very, very. It's very difficult to hear what you're saying, but I think you ask if we are planning a bigger version. No, normally when
yes, bigger version of Marabut.
Kim, Pavel is a really, really huge lover of Marabut. Really.
Well, I actually don't know if we are planning a bigger version, but it could be. It could be.
I will let you know, Pavel. It's if it comes, I will let you know.
Yeah.
So, guys, what do you think about this Guadeloupe? Guadeloupe, Poison is the same distillery which has Pierre Labat
Yes.
or not? Yes, Pierre Labat. So
Yes.
really, really nice distillery, really nice.
Yeah. They make some fantastic rum themselves, and sometimes it's just possible to get some of their rums, and this one was something that we was presented in Paris at some time, and just thought about that. Well, we should try do something with this.
Guys, do you like it? What do you think about that? You know, these kind of rums are really difficult. So,
Yeah, it is difficult because it's like a French in a box, like in a bottle. You have oak, you have a lot of cognac, you have cherries, and it's mixed together. There's for me not so much vanilla out of this wood or this oak, but this is like it's not so aggressive in kind when you are drinking it. It's mostly in your nose, like all of those aromas when they are combined all together and hit you at once. It's something like really different, and I think I didn't have something like this in my life even to this day. And after we had so many rums with Krzysiek, so it's quite nice.
And in my opinion, you can taste the distillate very strongly. So I would say, and I agree with Pavel on this one. I don't really feel like 5 years in a barrel here. For especially when it comes to French oak, I'm a little bit surprised because it's very, very delicate. The influence of the barrel, perhaps because it was continental, as you mentioned.
Yeah.
I'm curious how it would be in a tropical one.
And this one was actually, it was 4 years in France, and it was actually when we got it to Denmark, it was 70%. So it has been in the barrels at 70%, which is quite a lot, and it's not always that the barrel influence enough on the rum with that high ABV. So we added a little bit of water when we added it into the barrel in Denmark, because we thought 60, 63, 64 would be more would be better, because you have more water in the rum, and the cask will work a little bit more with the rum in that case. And when you have these continental aging like this, it's more smooth than if you're doing it in the tropical climate.
Okay, thank you.
And actually, the collector's series was started when we got too many barrels for the Wild Series. The Wild Series was something that we had a very huge success with for the first, I don't know, 30, 35 bottlings. They were sold very quickly, and we just thought about that we would also want some rums that we could have for more than 10 minutes on our shelves in the stores. So we actually could have some rums that people could learn to know what Rum Deluxe was. So we made the Wild Series of rum, and tonight we have 3 of these that we should taste. The next one is a very nice one from Belize. It's this one. "70-year-old travelers," and it's has been a lot of the time in continental aging, but also a few years in the tropics.
Co, kochani, zupełnie inaczej niż poprzedni, co? Totally different than the last one.
Yes, it is. Belize is, well, it's one of my go-to rums. They make crazy good rum in Belize, in my opinion. So we're just having a lot of their bottlings over the years. It's a lot of chocolate. It's a lot of, well, it's just a very nice rum. It's a lot of sweetness, despite the fact there's not any sugar added.
When you write, as in this one, cask number 4, what does it mean? Is it cask number 4 from Belize or what? What does it mean in your warehouse?
It's when we, a lot of the rums that we buy, aged rums, we are buying from brokers, and we are buying a lot of rums from Maine in Liverpool. We have also bought some rums from Bristol, which also have their warehouse in Liverpool. And when you buy a rum, when you buy a barrel of rum from, for example, Maine, you get their cask number. They buy the rums at Belize. They transport 10,000 liters or whatever to Liverpool, and they barrel it in Liverpool. And after that, they put their cask numbers on the barrels, and that's what we're using. We're only using the numbers that we get from them.
It's very surprising that the number is so low. 4 and not like 647 or something like that.
Yeah.
So Kim, this is fully continental aging, yes?
Yeah, it has had a few years tropical, but we couldn't get exact time, so we didn't want to write it on the label, because if we're not sure, we're not going to tell that we know this is 3 or 4, 5 years in the tropics. We think it's around 4, but we're not sure.
Okay.
So now I understand why you told us, Krzysztof, that it was different like the last one. It's wow. It's on the different opposite side.
And lots of happens. For me, the first sip is sorrow, and after that, the sweetness of molasses comes to the finish.
Yeah.
It's surprisingly, because the beginning is not sweet and the end is very sweet.
It is. It is. It is coming at the finish. At the end, you have this sweet chocolate taste.
You already tried during some festivals, also in Poland, some Belizean rams. And these are like your one as are totally different than we tried before when we tried 40 something ABV and with sugar added usually. So when someone asks me or tell me that, oh, Brazilian rams, no, I don't like them, and when try this one like this, they totally turn their thoughts, that, oh,
Yes.
wow, is it how it's possible? Yes, it is. So yeah, so I like that stuff, really, really like that stuff.
That's actually quite a huge problem. Not only for us, also for the SBS guys and other who makes Belize bottlings, that a lot of customers think that Belize rum, no, we don't like it because they have been drinking Belize rums at 40 or 42%, and they actually don't think it's that good. And when you get something like this, it's a whole different experience.
Yeah, exactly. Yes.
And it's a pity because you have this huge distillery and they make some very nice rums. And I think that something like this is just something that you could, well, summer night and a cigar and a little bit of dark chocolate, and then you're just going to heaven.
Did you buy the white unaged ram and age it in Europe?
No, this one has actually is actually a barrel that we bought from Maine. We haven't been in the business longer than 2019, so we don't have any rums that's older than that in our warehouse that we have stored ourselves. Everything else that we bottle is something that we buy from brokers or from distilleries where we can get some barrels. So we have a lot of hard work tasting a lot of cask samples to get the right barrels for us, because we're not just taking the first barrel that we get. We will taste a lot of barrels and say we want something from Belize, but we want it to be special. So we get 5 or 6 or 10 samples to taste before we decide what to buy.
You have very hard work.
Yeah, I know. Thank you for your.
But now I understand why you release such, let's call it, great ram. I thought that because before this one I tried only SBS release from Belize.
Yeah.
But now you said that it should be my question if all Belize's rams are such good tasted. But now I understand that no, not all. This one is selected by you, especially.
No. Yeah.
But I miss the words to describe my experience, what I feel right now.
So you don't like it or you like it?
No, it's great. It's delicious, and
yeah.
Fortunately, I know Ram Explorer a little bit longer, so I'm prepared for the different rams. As the Consumatus, I find as a really nice, and especially for the new joiners, as I said. But this one, these last two, the Guadeloupe, I would say the same. They are different, of course, but they give a very specific experience.
Yeah.
So once again, I wonder why you limit the series on only for less than 300 bottles.
For your safety.
Yeah, probably. And
for your budget.
For my pocket, yeah.
Well, actually, when we started this, remember when I told you we are rum geeks ourselves, we are rum enthusiasts, and we love to have a lot of nice bottles in our own collections. And we actually mostly started this because of our passion for rum. And we thought that if we should do something, it should be special, it should be very high quality, and you can't make the same quality if you are blending 5 or 6 or 10 barrels, not with our financial limits. So we have to start small. I know that you know Luca can do that. He can bottle 3,000 bottles of something very nice because he have a little bit more money than we have, I think. So he has the ability to make the large bottlings. We don't do that, so we actually talked about, well, if we can't buy 3 or 4 barrels and blend it together and make a large bottling, we have to make something special, and that's why we're doing it as single cask. Actually, well, almost 2 years ago, under the COVID, we sold all our wild bottlings in 5 or 10 minutes. When we released them on Saturday morning, it was 10 minutes hard work, and then it was sold out. And we started at that time to barrel 2 barrels, but we made them single cask, so it was 1 barrel at 53% ABV and 1 barrel at 53.7 or something like that. And it was quite expensive to do that. But we thought that it should be that way. It should be 1 single cask. If we make doubled, it will be 2 single casks. And maybe at some time, when we get a little bit older and a little bit richer, we can make a larger bottling, take 3 or 4 barrels and put them together and then bottle them as one bottling.
So I wish you success. So maybe your rams will be more achievable.
Yeah.
You know what I mean.
Yeah. And it's actually quite funny because the next rum that you have to taste is Collector's Series rum number 12. It's one of the most known marks from Diamond Distillery. It's a Versailles pot still. It's the mark REV, and that bottling is actually made in two barrels, and we still have them. Besides the fact that we bottled them in September 22.
So you bottled Ref, one of the famous Guyana mark.
Yeah. And in this one, you have a lot of wood. You have a lot of burnt sugar. You have all these nice dark notes from Guyana rum.
The smell is so deep.
It is.
Excellent.
This is actually something that you can have in your glass all night and just use it to smell it.
Imagine, guys, that the whole warehouse with rum barrels smells like that. The whole.
And it actually does. When you go to their warehouses, they smell like this.
Guys, what do you think about this one?
I feel like almonds.
Mm.
Like roasted almonds and coconut. Like, like chopped coconut, inside part of the coconut. And so much more that I cannot even name by the English name. So
I think you have some tobacco, you have some leather in it.
Oh, I didn't ask you before, Kim. Always when we meet on during the festival, you're wearing a leather. I don't know how it called in English.
Yeah, apron.
Yeah. Why is that? Because you look like a guy who work in a
Butcher.
jak się nazywa, słuchajcie, po angielsku, rzeźnia?
Butchery.
Yeah.
Why,
It looks
why
like,
is that?
it's actually a thing in Denmark that when you have a wine store or a store where you're working with barrels, you have an apron, a leather apron to protect your clothes. And we actually had it for 1 or 2 years in Berlin because we thought it was nice. We don't have it anymore. Well, we have the aprons. We're using them in the store, but we're not using them on the festivals anymore. Now it's Hawaiian shirts and hats instead, just to make some kind of different look than all the others. And then when we are wearing hats, they can see we don't have any hair. But the aprons has actually a good use when we are tumbling around with the barrels.
Okay. I'm trying to find a picture, but I can now. I can now find it now.
I think there was a pictures. I think it will be next picture in your presentation with your, yes, it is.
Yeah.
Let's see how for example, for why.
Yes.
Yeah.
So let's go to the next picture.
characteristic.
The next picture is actually what started our what should we call it? Our success with our own bottlings was actually the wild series of rum. It was a little bit crazy because we hadn't planned it. We just wanted to make something special. So back in 2019, there was a fair in Denmark called Nordic Rum Fest, something that Daniel Nunes arranged together with another friend of his in Copenhagen. And we thought about, we were the biggest rum bottlers in Denmark, especially if someone asked us. So we thought about we would participate in this fair, and then we had to make some kind of rum that could put us on the map and get people to talk about who is Rum Deluxe, why are they so crazy, what are they doing, don't they know anything, all that kind of talk that could get people to talk about Rum Deluxe. So we got some crazy white rum, Jamaican white rum at 85.3% ABV, and 1600 Easters. It was a DOK from Hampton. We we didn't have a lot of time, so we put the rum in small Madeira casks, small 40 liters Madeira cask. We had 3 barrels, aged the rums for 2 months and 19 days. And then we bottled it, talked about how should the ABV, where should we put it? Should we add some water? Should we do something with it? But we decided we don't add any water, because if we are going with a rum to the festival at 85%, people will talk. And they did. So we actually made 170 bottles of rum aged 2 months and 19 days at an ABV of 85.3%. It was quite smooth. It was quite crazy. So that's why we just talked about what should we call it. And the name came to us rather easy. It should be the Wild series of rum. Actually, it should be the Wild rum. But then Michael told us that we needed to think a little bit ahead, so we could make a Wild series of rum, so we could make more crazy rums on the way. This should be something that actually succeeded. So we made the Wild series of rum, Jamaica, 85.3%, and then we went to the fair. And half of the guests at the fair thought we were crazy and it tasted like shit. And the other half also thought that we were crazy, but they really liked it. And that's why we sometimes, now and then, still make a rum. Normally it's Jamaican, and it's normally over 85%, and it's aged for some time. We have made some of them around 2 years. Last time we made something for Berlin, it was 2 months and 14 days, because we wanted to make a new release of Wild Number 1. This time it was from Long Pond, and it was also 1600 Easters, and it was also foolproof, full ABV from the distillery. So it was 85.3, and that's quite well received. 2 years ago, we made a 2-year-old HGML for the Berlin Rum Fest, also at that ABV, and people are still talking about that.
Yeah,
they're still coming to us and say, do you have a bottle or two? Do you have some at home? I have one, but it stays where it is.
Yeah, I remember that, guys, this is the situation when you going on the festival, and the festival in one moment starting to be boring for you, and because you tried a lot,
Especially for you.
you tried you tried everything, and in one moment you go to the stand with kind of that rams, and everything is changed in 1 second. So yeah, so this is totally crazy time.
Yeah, it is. And that's actually why the Wild series was born. And now we just have to move on in that series, because people like it a lot, and they also like the animals on the labels. So it's just to move on.
Click.
The first one you should taste is Wild Series number 37 from Nicaragua. Actually 24 years old and bottled for a small shop in Denmark called Whisky.dk. He has a web shop, and they are making a very famous whiskey fair in Kolding. So we made a rum for their shop.
Kim, why you put on the label in the materials about bottling that this is the secret distillery?
Because we are not allowed to tell about the distillery.
Yeah.
I can tell you that the distillery is Licorea de Nicaragua, but I'm not allowed to put it on the label.
Okay.
And if I do, they have some very expensive lawyers who wants to talk to me.
When the lawyer is okay.
Yeah,
I'm afraid they know some guys who don't want to talk with you. They maybe only want to cut you something.
There's a lot of distilleries who don't want us to name their distillery on our rums, and it's actually the same for most of the independent bottlers. There's a few who can. Luxe is one of them. He can actually tell what's in the bottles because he has a commercial agreement with the distilleries. But most of the independent bottlers are not allowed to do that. 1423 are not allowed either. They are, despite the fact they are much bigger than we are, they are not allowed to tell which distillery it comes from. We can tell it here at the tasting, but we are not allowed to write it on the label. And that's actually because they don't want to put their name on a rum that we have put in sherry cask or added banana or something like that. We could do a lot of crazy things with the rums, and they can control it, so they don't want us to tell about it.
Okay.
You put the information that it's a 24 years old rum. So how many years it was in tropical? How many years it was in the continental aged?
It was 8 years in the tropical and the rest continental.
So how much stay in the barrel for 24 years in aging? It will be 20%, 30%.
No, we don't have that number because when we got this barrel, it was almost full. But that's because the broker is filling the barrels. They have maybe 20 barrels, and then when they go low in the alcohol, they've put one barrel all over the other barrel, so they fill them up all the time. So you have this very small surface and not that much evaporation. So when we get it as a single cask, we get, despite the fact that it's 24 years, we get actually a cask who is almost full.
So do you have these barrels you keep in your warehouse, or do you have any warehouse around Denmark, French, or?
Yeah, I have these kind of barrels we have in our own warehouse. It's a place that we rent at 1423 where we have some of our barrels lying at their place because we don't have the space for all the barrels in our own warehouse. And then we have the rest of the barrels at our place. But we have them in Denmark, so it's continentally aged.
Do you know the angel share in your
around 3 to 4% for the normal barrels. And when you are having the barrels with the high ABV, the 85, the 86% ABV, it's more like 15%. Because, you know, the high ABV, it just gets out of every crack in the barrel. It's totally crazy to keep it in. So we have a lot of evaporation from the high ABV. And actually, we talked to a guy at some time because we didn't quite understand what was happening when we aged at these high ABVs, and there was so much evaporation from the barrels. And he told us that if we wanted the barrels to work very well and don't get stressed, we needed to add around 35% of water, so we had only 65% ABV. But if we don't want to add water, we just get a barrel who is not working that well and it's very stressed when it's finished. So we are doing a little bit of those, but not a lot, because barrels is also a very expensive thing to get new barrels all the time. What do you think about this one?
It's completely different in the nose. It's very funny, interesting. A lot happens in the nose, less it happens on in the finish. But it's still in the finish. It's strongly Melassa, the similar that the Belize.
For me, it is like you cannot taste that it's 60 few percent of alcohol, and it's like a little killer when you will be able to drink a lot of that, because it's very few, maximum 40% alcohol, and it's 61.2 on your presentation. So all the notes are like really sophisticated, hidden inside of it. You can actually smell a lot inside your nose, but you're not able to actually feel the strength of this distillate. So it's crazy for me. Like, you show that to like a regular person, maybe they will say, "Oh, it's weird smelling alcohol," because everyone that was drinking like regular alcohols will not actually feel the good sides of this, because everyone needs time. But after like few shots or maybe a few drinks, they will be like quite dead, because 61% not an option. It's only for 40% or even 37.5. So great job hiding that alcohol and making it a pleasure to drink.
Thank you.
Yeah, and this is another situation. I mean, yes, I know. And this is another situation when the distillery usually selling really, really delicate rum, and in one moment you go to the super nice and very powerful rum from the same distillery. Every distillery has heavy and light rums. Every distillery, but if you have enough time and you know the people from the industry, you can find something really, really nice.
Okay.
Have you heard about heavy postil Bacardi?
We don't say that word.
Nice.
That was
That's not rum, that's cane vodka.
Cane vodka, yes, exactly.
Well, it does what it has to do. The name we don't say, it does what it has to do. The young people get drunk very quickly and get a lot of bad experience with rum, unfortunately. So that's just what it is. This is so much better. And actually, when we are talking about something like this, it's something that we are using a lot of time tasting these barrel samples and deciding what do we want for the next bottling. We are not making any compromises on the way. We are just doing what we think is right, and hope that our customers also think that. So we are not going any shortcuts on the way. It's not for us. And I hope that some of our customers can actually taste that we do a lot of effort in placing a lot of effort in the rums, because we want it to be very good. We actually got a rum from Renaissance in Taiwan, a small distillery where this crazy lady has this small distillery together with her husband. And we wanted to barrel one of her rums in our bottlings and make a wild Renaissance. And she just said, no, you can't. You can buy a barrel and we can bottle it for you, but you can't put it in your own bottles.
Oh,
It's not an option, because she needs this huge back label where she writes everything around the rum and
yeah.
what they got for dinner and how was the weather, and all technical details is on that label. It's crazy and it's fantastic. So we wanted to do a cooperation with her, and we could, but we could only do it in her bottles.
Will she allow it if you wouldn't put the name on the label?
No. It was just no.
Yeah. I think they have the more detailed label I ever met in rum
Yes.
industry.
Actually, the back label is larger than the front label. You have a nice front label, white front label, placing the name and what they call the rum, and then you turn the bottle around and it's almost 30% bigger on the back, because they need so much information. It's a real inspiration to work together with people like that, and that's what we are trying to do most of the time. Get to know people that has the same passion for what they're doing. Killik is a very good example. Pierre Labatt Distillery Poison is a very good example. There's a lot of people in the business who is making very, very nice rums, and we are just trying to get our hands on some of those and bottle them. And the next one we should taste is actually our latest bottling in the Wild series of rum. It's from Guyana, and it's a rather young one. It's only 13 years old, and it's only 148 bottles. The barrel was a little bit empty when we got it. It comes from Diamond Distillery. It's the oldest still they have. It's Portmorant, an old wooden pot still, built back in 1732, almost 300 years old and still producing rum, and make some real fantastic rums.
Wow, it's incredible. Yeah, this is it.
I think that we should say some praise to the rum gods before we taste this one.
I think this one is my favorite still of all times. Mostly because of the taste, but also because of the history. I have pictures of this still in every presentation I make when I make tastings in person, and I think this still can just make total incredible rum, and you can taste 300 years of rum history in this still. old wood from this still is just fantastic and makes this totally crazy taste. And you can just in your nose you can just smell. Oh, this is a Port Morant. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah, exactly.
But again, I would like to ask, because it's a very delicate one, and if I see, did it spend 14 years in a barrel?
Yes.
Okay, then again, I'm surprised because I wouldn't say so. Because how delicate it is.
Yeah. But it has most of the years in continental aging.
Paweł, nie słychać ciebie, nie słychać ciebie, Paweł. No, nie słychać ciebie, no, gdzieś jakbyś...
It's not easy to live in Great Britain, right?
Nie, bo Paweł się przemieszcza, wiesz, i to jest trochę utrudnione w jego przypadku, ale może...
And better now.
O, now it's better.
A lot.
Okay, fantastic. So I was saying that similarly to some people having a genetic thing that coriander tastes like soap, I have a weird thing that Port Morant tastes like soap to me. I love all the other Guyana, but I hate Port Morant and I can feel it in the blend because it tastes like soap to me.
Yeah.
Every time.
I actually have a small rum club here in Denmark where we meet once every month, and we have this guy who has a wife. Well, most of them have a wife, but this wife can actually smell pot still rum. She has this very fine nose, and she can actually just by smelling to the rum decide, is this pot still or column still? And I actually can't, but up until now she hasn't been wrong a single time. So she has some note that is just off for her.
So maybe you know that saying like, no, all the superheroes wear capes.
Yeah, exactly. And I think it's the same for Pavel with the Port Morant and the soap note, because some people say there's soap in this one. I just think it's fantastic.
Interesting idea to test this wife would be to give her some column still, but from very low plate. So like column still, but distilled to very low ABV.
Yeah, we have tried and we haven't succeeded yet. But we're not giving up. We will try again because we need just to
I think she should be
challenge
working
her a little bit.
she should be working in a distillery, and she would be better than most of the best rum heads in the whole industry.
Yeah.
Guys,
So
yeah, yes.
You continue.
Anyone else want to say something about this one?
Well, then we actually have to move on to the next one, and the next one is purely Chris who has got this run in this tasting, because we didn't have any more bottles at all. So he has chased 2 bottles in Germany, I think, just to get this on the tasting.
Yeah, creme de la creme.
It is.
One of the best, maybe the best rum last year. So wow, it's super crazy.
Thank you.
I love this one, really.
It's actually a thing that we made because we wanted to recreate the Wild Series #1, and at the moment, rums from Hampton is very expensive. So that's why we just thought about, well, let's try something else. Let's try Long Pond. They also have rums at 1600 Easters, and they also have very, very good rums. So we took some 1600 Easters TECC from Long Pond, added it into 40-liter seasoned sherry casks. 40 liters because that was what we did to the first one. And then we gave them 2 months and 14 days, and then we bottled it. And then we went for Berlin, and well, they liked it a lot. They really did. It's a little bit crazy because it's 85, but if you think it's too strong, you can always add a small drop of water.
Remember, guys, that the water is for animal.
Yeah. You can get poisoned by it.
Safe water, drink rum. Don't add any water to this one.
It should be the same like with the paintings. Like, I don't know, it's only one Mona Lisa, don't break it or something like this. So the same with this. If Krzysiek is saying this is the best rum of last year, if we add water, we will destroy this rum. So no, thank you.
Actually, the biggest Czech bard and poet has a song that's exactly the opposite. Pijte wodę, a nie pijte rum. That's a literal quote. Although he meant primarily Becherovka, so that's like questionably rum. If the only rum you can get is Becherovka, I guess it's better to drink water.
We got that even in Szczecin in the office. It's like our craft beer shop or craft beer local to drink a lot of different alcohols, but mostly beer. They have Becherovka, so it's not rum. You're like really say that straight. It's not rum.
Yeah, guys, of course, I'm joking. If you want to add some water, so do that, but not straight from the bottle, but put a finger in a glass with water and put some really few drops to the glass, and I think it's really enough.
But then Krzysztof excommunicates you from the...
What? Once again?
If you do it, Krzysztof excommunicates you from the club.
It's like our Pope of Rum. It's our like church of rum drinkers or something like this. Yeah. Ooh.
It's delicious.
This is the things I like. This is the things I like.
We are home.
Yeah, we are in home. We are in the where the Jesus is staying.
To be honest, it's much
2 months.
It's quite the same like this.
MOBA, which one? Hyester?
MOBA Hyester 65.2, yes. So it is the same area, it's the same level of greatness.
Yeah, exactly.
We should actually just get like 9 versions of this, different ones, and it will be the best degustation ever.
I have planned to do that maybe this year near the end of it. We did 2 years ago maybe Hyester tasting. We used only Hyester rums, but this time I think to use only over 1,200 maybe higher of ester only in one tasting.
So we will have like 3 hours instead of 1.
Totally crazy stuff.
So we'll have like 3 hours instead of 1.5 hours.
Yeah.
You will need more time to drink it. Yeah. Or smaller portions of your rum sent to us. So the same.
Yeah.
Wow.
No jak...
Don't need to drink it, just smell it, that's all.
Po gardziołku przeszedł. Ale nie potrafię tego przetłumaczyć na angielski.
Możesz powtórzyć?
Jakby mały Jezusik gołą stópką po gardziołku przeszedł.
Tak.
No
Piotr wrote a message that don't put the water. And guys, when you taste the rum like this one, this is not a rum for the beginners. every beginner tells you that, oh, wow, no, this is stink or something like that.
They will die, probably.
Or they will be like, like alive and like, oh, this is the life that didn't even existed in the past. So we were dead and now we are alive.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Krzysiek,
I like.
you are my Jesus. Like
No,
this is
this is
better
not
than
my
the whole
fault.
majówka.
You have to talk with Kim. Kim did that.
So Kim, thank you very much. We are the highest team, like Power Rangers. So we only love, like maybe not only, but this is the creme de la creme, like Shik said, and we love this kind of work. And if this would be in shops, the shops will be empty. But as Shik said in the past, like, oh, Bacardi, this is the word we don't use. So yes, the Bacardi is in shops and not this greatness. So sorry. So thankfully, because you two met and made this presentation, degustation, we cherish these moments. Every smell is great. Every sip is great. So thank you very much. It's a pleasure.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
On the last say trip, we've been proud that we sipped Sunset. It is a very strong rum also, but now I understand that we knew nothing about strong rums.
I told you. I told you. Kim, do you have some plans for
Yes.
this year or next year for similar rums, similar bottlings?
Yes, we have. We actually well, two years ago when we went to Berlin, we made a HGML, also 85, but aged around 2 years, so it was a bit smoother, but still a lot of taste. And the customers at the fair actually came running down to our booth and bought the bottles and went back to get their glasses so they could taste it because they didn't have the time to wait for the glasses. They needed to buy the bottles. And after that, a lot of customers has talked about that bottling as some of the best crazy rums they have ever tasted. So this year we are making another HGML for Berlin. And it will still be 85 point something when we bottle it. And at the moment we are bottling a TDL, a Trinidad TDL for the Rumfest in Prague. It's also very, very good. We have done a TDL before. Number 42 was a TDL that was quite okay. And this is even better. And then we have a small reunion cask that we are bottling at the moment that we will release in about 2 weeks. And after that, there will be a 10 cane released in Taiwan. We have a bar in Taiwan who has bought a whole bottling. But there will be some bottles in a little bit of bottlings in Denmark, not a lot, but a little bit. So we also have that one planned. And then we have some more high Easter rums planned for the later this year, September, October. But we're not the guys who is making. Well, we are making a lot of plans, but we are never keeping them because then we get a barrel of something that we think, oh, this one we need to barrel now. Or this one we need to barrel tomorrow. And then all our plans get just, now we have to make this one. We have actually some of the Guadeloupe rum that you tasted earlier. We have it in an old Caroni cask that is evolving very well. So we don't know yet when we will bottle that, but that will always be something that we will make sometime this year. And now you're taking notes and I can read about it tomorrow.
Once again,
Yes,
last.
I said now you're taking notes so I can read about it tomorrow.
Yeah.
Google Translate will help you a little bit.
So yeah. So do you like it, guys? The last one, especially the last one.
I have to admit it that if I will give the bottle, the get the bottle on the ferries on whatever place, I will not be able to show that that is your rum. One was different, totally different. There was
Yes,
only two things which were common: a high quality, a very high quality, and a beautiful label. You have the very good designer of the labels in every cask, every bottle. There was fantastic to see this.
thank you.
Also, for me, I'm just the beginner on this business. Everything was for me a new thing, new discover. I don't know which is the best for me, but I appreciated every kind of this, and every kind was different. So thanks very much.
You're welcome. You're welcome. We're trying to make them different because we want to show what all the rum world can do, and they have a lot of exciting distilleries, and there's a lot of exciting rums out there. I think maybe we haven't found the best one yet. There might be some barrels stowed away in a dark corner of a cellar somewhere that we could find. I know I have seen an Jamaica rum from '84, so maybe we could find something like that. So we just try to present you for the rum that we like, because as I said before, if we don't like it, we won't bottle it. We will let someone else do it.
I can say that now I'm getting be a fan of Ram Deluxe and Luxe. So I really appreciate your work, and that you find this cask from the corner of the sailing. But the best of the best for today. All as Jacek said, I can't say more. But the best of the best, and the big surprise for me is this Jamaica.
Yeah.
I can't believe that 85%, and I sip it and I love it and I want more. Please, I want more. So once again, thank you for your work, and
You're welcome. We just love it.
I will look for you on the festivals.
Yeah, do that. Yeah.
Be aware.
Kim, which festivals you have planned to join this year?
Berlin.
We have planned Berlin. We have planned the Rumfest in Prague. We should have been in Belgium, in Spa, but I'm not sure we're going. We have some discussions with our distributor about it, so I'm not sure we're going there. So at the moment, it's only Berlin and Prague.
So we are really close to these two. So
Yeah,
so we will see each other for sure.
yeah, we will. I think so. We normally do.
Yeah, perfect. So
One question, excuse me, one question. This little birdie on the box is a marabut?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it is this is the ram which Paweł Kalinowski was asking about, yeah?
Yeah,
So
exactly.
now I understand him.
Yeah.
Everything is clear.
It's a shoebill, and it's a very mean bird, and we have talked for a very long time. Klaus, the other guy in the company, has this bird as his favorite. He's also married, and I don't know why this bird is his favorite, and I can't tell you, because then his wife will kill me. But this bird is approximately 1 meter high, and it is a very mean bird. So we just needed to make a bottling with that bird. And this rum is actually something that is a little bit mean to someone also. We like it, but there will also be people who taste this and think, whoa, this is just too much of everything.
And he's a meat eater also. Sorry, meat eater.
Yeah, yeah, it is.
Yeah. This is one of these rams. When you open it in 1 minute, you feel it everywhere in the place, in the room.
Yeah.
So, Kim, I want to thank you very much for your journey to our tasting, for telling us how you do that, and I appreciate that. You know that because we talked about that many times before. So I wish you all the best, and I hope you will bottle something similar in the future. And maybe if you agree, next time we will meet with something more and something different, because yeah, I think we have a lot of work to do for the rum.
We have a lot of work to do in the rum business. That's definite.
Yeah.
We can just see each other in Berlin.
Yeah, we can.
Yeah, we are going together, so expect that.
Krzysiek, we can go with our like Szczecin Zielona Góra team in 1 or 2 cars and just straight ahead to Berlin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Perfect.
So thank you very much. I think it's close to the end. We are stopping recording and sharing on Facebook. Where are you? Ah, here. And now we have planned to make some after session, after party.
Yeah.
To talk in Polish. If you want to stay, of course you can, but I'm afraid you won't understand anything.
No, I know I won't understand anything. So have a good night. I will leave the session.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Kim.
Thank you.
See you in Berlin.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Thank you.
Yeah. Bye, Kim.
Bye.
Thanks a lot.
Dobrze, pierwsze co powiem. Gdzie ten
Czekaj.